Today I'm going to show you guys how to paint or repaint, depending on your case, an Aerospoke. First things first, we need to get this logo off here. It doesn't come off as easily as you might think, considering they are just like sticky type letters. You see what I mean? And don't worry, we'll put the logo back on later. We're just going to have to make a new one or order one or whatever, no big deal. In this application, I'm just going to, if you see this with a razor blade, it just takes off like the outside layer, if you will, or the top layer of the stickers, leaving just the sticky. Obviously, we don't want the sticky. Now, you don't have to be crazy careful with the razor, just don't go gouging into it, but for the most part, Aerospokes are pretty durable. You're not going to scratch it or nothing like that. I mean, just take your time. You want it to look nice or whatever. But once you got a decent amount of that outside coating on, just get yourself some real fine grade steel wool and just use a piece of that. And as you can see, the adhesive for the stickers, I mean, pretty much comes right off. Well, here, let me put it on the ground so I got more leverage. Don't worry about how hard you push, as long as you use the real fine grade steel wool, it's not going to hurt the wheel at all. As you can see, it's only going to take off the decal. It's not harming the wheel in any way. See? Perfect shape. Another thing we're going to want to prep is if you have machined walls. I mean, I don't know how good you can see that. They're kind of dirty. You don't even got to push that hard or nothing. But, well, can't see a huge difference on the camera, but you're going to want to go ahead and go around the entire outside of it as well, if your walls are machined, to get those nice and shiny again. And then once you get all that done, you paint it. Alright, after you have rubbed it down with some steel wool, I'd recommend that you go ahead and hit the whole thing with it. Like I said, it's not going to hurt it at all. Just to get all the dirt, and if there's anything sticky or anything on it, just make sure you get everything. Next, we're going to want to take some stuff called tack cloth. Basically what this is just exactly what it says. It's a tacky piece of cloth. You just rub this all over it. It's just kind of sticky, and it'll get all the dust and everything off of it. But this doesn't leave lint or nothing on it. So, like, before you start this, because obviously you're going to be dirty from wiping that down, go wash your hands and all that, because you don't want all kinds of fingerprints and everything. But then just go ahead and take this tack cloth and just totally wipe down everything with that. And this will get all the little bits of dust and everything off of it. So we have a nice, perfect painting surface. Now, after you've done that, go ahead and just wipe it down again with just some type of lint-free piece of whatever, t-shirt, a cloth, something. Just make sure you didn't miss nothing. So, I think we're about good. Okay. Now, once you are 100% satisfied, let's get some masking tape. In my situation, I'm not going to actually take off all this. I'm just going to tape it off because it'll be just as easy. And same thing, just like anything else, the more time you take with it, the better it'll look. So, can't stress enough. Take your time. Alright, let's begin. First, shake the shit out of the paint. Do whatever it says on the can. It says a minute, do a minute. I mean, it's always better to shake it too much than not shake it enough. In this case, I'm going to just use some plastic primer. I know it's not actually plastic, but it's close enough. Same type of thing. Alright, good enough, whatever. Now, in doing this, I don't know if you ever primed anything before, but in this situation, you're just going to want to put one real light coat instead of multiple coats or anything. Just do it one time, real good, but light. Light, light, light. Spray the can a little bit. Make sure it's working good before we even start. Stay like yay far away. Oh, make sure it's all ventilated and all that. Put it on nice and even with that pump action. Now, when you have that about where you want it, let it set up for however long the can says, and then we'll move to the next step. It's been an hour. That's enough time for the primer to dry. So now, I chose the paint this metallic gold. So same thing, just like the primer. Keep it, you know, however far away. Keep the can in motion. Same thing. Don't make drips or nothing. But we're gonna want to put like at least 2 or 3 coats on there, and we're gonna let it dry for like 5 to 7 days. Another trick you can use is while you're painting, go through it with some kind of bright light. That way you can see any imperfections or any spots you miss, because sometimes just the angle of the light, you won't be able to even tell if you're hitting it or not. We're going to let that sit for a little bit. Here we are 24 hours later. You want to go ahead and take a look at your stuff. Obviously one coat ain't going to be enough to do it, and there's probably going to be small imperfections. So I'm going to go through with a real fine piece of steel wool again and knock down any imperfections And go over just the whole thing real lightly, just to make sure you got a nice smooth product where we put the next coat on. This will also tell you if you did it right to begin with, because if you did it wrong, your paint will just start popping right off of it when you start doing this. So it's pretty good on that side. Let's move over here to this other side. Overall, we're looking pretty good. Like I said, even if there's not messed up spots, go ahead and just hit the whole thing real lightly. Now, just like last time, I'm just going to take a lint-free cloth, wipe this all down again so I can paint it one more time. And now obviously start with the second coat, doing the same way you did with the first coat. Day number 3, we're just going to sand it, well, steel wool it down again, one last time here. Get them final couple of imperfections, and then pretty much just paint it again. We'll be good. Same thing, just like last time, we're going to wipe it down again. Make sure we get all the little bits of dust off. Plus, using the cloth, you can feel if there's any more imperfections or anything that you need to sand off or whatever before we paint it the final time. This time's going to be it. After we paint it this time, we're just going to let it sit for like 5 to 7 days. Once again, same old thing, just like last 2 steps. Shake the shit out of your can before you use it. Just put a nice, final, even coat on it. It's been 7 days. And, I just peeled the tape off the hogs. As you can see, I'm going to pull the tape out of the inside of here. And yeah, as you can see, it turned out very well. Really nice. Now I'm just gonna throw the tire on and that'd be that. We're just gonna use a piece of sticky vinyl. It's clear, and this is what we're gonna make the logo out of. As you see, I just hopped on I don't know, use some kind of editing program, whatever. I was able to get a vector online for free, so I pretty much just, so I wouldn't waste the paper, just filled up a sheet with them. I wound up making those, they're like 1.25 inches by 8.5. I'll put the exact measurements in there later, and then we're just going to print that out. Now we need to use this stuff here. It's pretty much like laminate in a can. Well, actually, that's exactly what it is. It's kind of like spray paint. Just shake it and apply it in like a decent layer, just over the whole thing. Actually, let me do this over here. Just apply a decent layer over the whole thing. Okay, looks pretty good. According to the can, wait like 5 minutes, spray it again, and then I usually let that sit overnight then. And then we're just going to cut it out and apply it. Alright, it's ready for layer number 2. Same way. Put a nice even coat over it. Now when that dries, like you see it curls up, but as it dries it lays back down. But that just pretty much acts like a laminate, and it'll be completely weatherproof and everything else after that. As you can see, these turned out really good. there's any distortion in them. I assure you it's in the camera and not the image. Yeah, so we're gonna let that dry overnight or whatever, and cut them out and throw them on the wheel. Alright, here we go. After you print them out and the spray that you put on there dried and everything, here's one that I cut out. I'm aware of the fact that the actual Aerospoke logo is separate pieces, but I'm lazy when it comes to stuff like that, so I just cut it out the way I did. But because once again we're using clear vinyl, it don't really matter. But this is the final product. I mean, it turned out very well, actually. Sorry, all these angles are bad. My garage is crazy cluttered. And that's that.